Stay till the end for some important announcements. I know this video is a little bit late. Wasn't really intentional. I did have some real life stuff get in the way. And no, this is not the video that I mentioned that I was going to rework in the community tab, if you paid attention to that at all and if you saw that post. This is a completely different video. I'm still working on that video. What I was going to upload didn't really feel right. It wasn't up to my standards. Anyways, this isn't a commentary video. This is an actual video about me practicing TIG welding, so let's get into it. Now, I'm really rusty with my TIG welding. I haven't TIG welded in months at this point, so I decided to just grab a hunk of scrap metal and clean it up and just run some beads on it, get some practice in, and I really wanted to focus on a few things. I wanted to focus on feeding the wire in my hands, and I also wanted to focus on my arc length and torch angle. Now the first thing I'm going to do on this piece of material is just run a bead along the edge of the piece just to kind of box in the welds a little bit and give me kind of a guideline to run my welds straight. Turns out they're crooked anyways, but what am I going to do about it? That's what practice is for. Now it looks something like this. If you see any sparks or any contamination floating around in the weld puddle, that's just because I didn't really fully clean this piece of material as clean as it could get. I figured grinding off all the rust and then wiping it down with acetone was good enough for practice purposes. It's just going to go back in the scrap bin anyways. Now there's not a lot of explaining to do for the rest of this stuff. It's really just me running bead after bead after bead on this piece of material. Now some of them do look a little bit cold at the start, and that's just because of the amperage that my machine runs at. It doesn't really run at a high enough amperage to sink the welds in well enough, but this piece of material is really the best one I could find to practice on. Now before I continue, I really just wanted to quickly point out the body positioning that I have to do for this video. I don't really have the ideal setup table-wise, and I had to position myself really funny and in a way I'm not used to while filming this just to get the camera in, just because my piece of material was actually a T-joint, and it fit perfectly into the slot in my table, and that was the best way I could find to hold it. So I kind of had to make do a little bit with an awkward position. I still do think this is good practice to practice in a way where I'm not entirely comfortable, just to make it easier for me to TIG weld better when I am more comfortable. Alright, so right about here in this arc shot, I dipped my tungsten. I was trying to focus on not doing this, however, it happens, and I'm still relatively new to TIG welding, so I will dip my tungsten. However, I do it less frequently than I used to when I first started. I dipped the tungsten like once every 2 welds or once every weld or something like that. But I did dip it, and I just wanted to point out this mistake. I did finish up the weld, and a little trick that I learned from God knows where, I don't really know where I picked it up, but I sharpened both ends of my tungsten just so I don't have to find a new one. I just pull that tungsten out, flip it around, and shove it back in, and I've got a nice sharp end ready to use. I did finish out this weld just because it was a couple inches, it was about maybe an inch or so, and it was just for practice. But if I was doing this on like a project or a part or something, I'd definitely just stop and switch out the tungsten. Alright, there's not too much commentary that I can give about this. Again, it's really just super simple padding beads. It's a really simple exercise. It's just you run beads in a straight line. Ideally, you want to run them with both left and right hand, but to do that, I need to be comfortable with using TIG with my dominant hand, which I'm not entirely comfortable with fully. Which is the whole point of this exercise. I want to get myself as comfortable as possible with TIG welding. So I'm about to go on a little bit of a ramble here in a minute, but before I do, I just wanted to show you guys the welds that I put down in this video. Now they might be a little bit cold and crooked and the ripples aren't perfectly spaced, but for the skill level that I am at currently, I'm pretty happy with these. The whole point of this exercise is for practice. I know the skill level of other people and what kind of welds they can put down. I'm not one of those people. However, I am doing this for practice. I'm trying to practice keeping the bead straight, running the bead in a straight line. I'm trying to practice keeping the proper torch angle, the proper tungsten length, the electrode length, arc length, whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to practice proper rod angle, feeding the rod. I'm trying to practice everything here, so it's going to take some time. But again, I am pretty happy with the way these turned out for being rusty at TIG welding. Alright, so before this video ends, I really want to talk about a few things. My upload schedule has been, for the past couple months, about once every week. Now, I can try and keep this up the best I can. However, it's getting a little bit difficult with scheduling and the amount of stuff I have going on in my shop, which is really, really slow. So I will definitely try and continue to put out a video every week, but if I miss an upload, then you'll know why. It's just I don't really have much going on. In the shop, that is, because real life, I'm pretty busy. That's going to be about it for this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. And if you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing. I want to ask you guys to do something new. And you might hear other YouTubers do this, and it might sound a little bad. But if you do subscribe, or if you're already subscribed, I'd like you to click the little bell next to my name to get notifications for whenever I upload. But most importantly, whenever I post something in the YouTube community tab on my channel, which I'm trying to use more often as an interaction to you guys, so I can post all kinds of stuff. I can post announcements and that sort of thing. We can do questions. You guys can ask me stuff through that tab. So please consider using that and turn on notifications so you can see whenever I post something, whether it be the community tab or a video. I'd appreciate it if you did. Anyways, that's all from me. I will hopefully see you guys next week.
I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're wrong.